Hi guys, it's September 8th and I had a few things happen yesterday that I wanted to share with you guys. The first was, as you know, I gifted an illusion ball, and the illusion ball was taken from the gifting site, which I was thrilled with because usually he only takes the Rubik's Cubes, and he must have got bored with that because the third Rubik's Cube that I left, he left it there, so it's in the basket. But the illusion ball is gone. So I haven't been out there in a while to check that since I found out that the ball was gone. So I was out there wandering around and checking things out, and I found a Y stick on the blanket by the basket, which is par for course. He usually leaves Y sticks when I give them something, and that's not unusual. I have a part of my fence that I just stick these Y sticks in, and I'm just like collecting them. So that was par for the course. And then I leave my north facing spare bedroom windows, the shades pulled up, and I turn the TV on right around 7:30 at night so that they can come in and watch TV. Now I've had really good success with that. So I leave the door shut because I don't want the cat going in there. So I always, before I go into that room, I always say out loud, coming in, to give them a chance to do whatever they're gonna do and not startle them by me just, I'm here. So I opened the door, and of course, Olaf was at the window. Now, this is the second time that I've seen him at the window. And the first time he held my gaze before he did whatever he did or went wherever he went. This time it was quicker. It was not a hold. It was more like a glance, you know, an acknowledgement of, okay, you're here, I'm here. And then, of course, by the time I got to the window, he was nowhere to be seen. So that was pretty exciting. But the thing that amazed me was how quickly these guys grow. I mean, I had to do as much as I could, like a double take, because his head was so big. I thought at first he was Jabri, the older male, his father. And then, you know, there's differences in their face, and even though it was quick, I could discern the differences in the face, but I was shocked by their growth. It's amazing because I don't know if his head appeared larger because his hair came in more because winter is coming. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works, so I'm not sure. But by the time I got to the window, he was gone. So that was exciting. So then I go to bed, and I'm laying in bed, and all of a sudden I get what people call a tingle, but for me it's more like a pressure, and it comes right here, and that lets me know that they're around. So then I was laying in bed and I had the pressure, and then I get the mind speak in my mind, I'm going to tap on your window. And I said, okay, but don't tap on my window because it startles me, and if I'm sleeping and you tap, I'm gonna startle awake, and I don't really want that to happen. So I tried to explain to him that the tapping on the window because I've asked them not to bang on the house because, again, it startles me. And I know it's something that they do. It's just, hey, we're here. It's like a joke to them. They just like it. The little ones just like it. So then he has been tapping on windows, but I wasn't real keen on him tapping on the window when I was sleeping, knowing that it was going to startle me awake, because you just don't know what's going on, and I just didn't want the, what do you want to call it? I didn't want the rush of that happening, you know what I mean? I didn't want to be startled awake like that. So I asked him not to tap on the window when I'm sleeping, knowing that it was going to startle me awake. And I tried to explain to him how that was. And I was saying, you know how, like, if you're sleeping and a deer or something comes rushing by you and it startles you awake, I said that's the same thing that the tapping would do to me. So that's why I don't want you to tap on the window when I'm sleeping. So then that ended the conversation. I didn't get a yes or no answer. I didn't get any of that. But what I did get, I thought this was funny, and it was, you know, that's just who Olaf is. He is his own little being, and he's saucy. He's just mischievous in a good way, and he's just saucy. He's spunky. So what I did get before I fell asleep was one tap. I got one tap on the window, and it was just like a bump. That's what it was like, but it was loud. Bump. And it did not, I was not startled by the one tap, but that's funny in it. The whole tapping thing reminded me of when I had burned the meatloaf that one time, and my kitchen had filled with smoke, and I have a kitchen, a dining room, and then I have a door off the dining room. So I had to open the door to let the smoke out, and when I did that, I stood on the side porch and I said, I'm okay, I just burned my dinner. And let the house air out a little bit, and it was like at dusk time when this happened. And so I cleared the house out of the smoke, and I shut the door and pulled the curtain and locked it and everything. And as soon as I had shut it and walked back in the kitchen, tap, tap, tap on the window. So there were 3 taps, and usually he will do 3 taps because that's what they do. And usually he does it when I'm awake, which is fine because that's not as startling as being in a full sleep and then waking up and not knowing what's going on. So that reminded me of that story. So he was probably thinking, well, I've tapped on windows before, so why can't I tap now? So I had to explain to him about the being startled out of your sleep, and he seemed to understand that because there was only one tap. He was gonna tap, but he was gonna do it respectfully. He wanted to tap, so they're stubborn like that. But I thought that was a cute story because, you know, people say that Bigfoot are gonna do what the Bigfoot do no matter what you say, and it just goes to show they are very respectful and they will listen. But the little ones, you know, they have their personalities, and this is just part of his personality. And he did it before I went to sleep, so that was a good thing. So those were the interesting little things that happened to me last night, and I thought it's, you know, pretty much almost anything that the little one is going to do is adorable to me because it's not meant to be harmful. It's more of a mischievous he's got a fiery little personality type thing, and I like that. I like a little fire in, you know, whatever that be, that's around me. I just like that fiery personality. As long as it's not harmful. That's the big thing. Have all the fire you want. Just don't, you know, harm people or hurt their feelings or anything like that. And he's a very fiery mix of kindness and love and jokes, which seems to be you know, like half the personality of his mom and half of his dad. His mom is really laid back, and his dad is basically laid back, but he's got some fire in him when he needs it. So that was my little story for last night, and I thought I would share that with you guys. And thank you guys for being with me again. I appreciate it, and thank you to the new subscribers that have come on. I appreciate you guys. And if you have any stories, send them to beautiesandthebigfoot@outlook.com, and I will be glad to read them for you. All right, you guys have a great night, and thanks again.